Rookies and quarterbacks have reported to Berea, and that stinking kid from Akron still won't make up his mind on where he wants to go. Again, could have just repeated last week's show, but we will do this
Couple
week's
weeks now.
we will do this week's show. This is the Voice of Land on the Inside Edge Network. I'm Kevin Arnold. He is Ryan Mosser. We are brought to you by the great people at Greeny Sports Cards. Greeny Sports Cards, greenysportscards.com is where you can get all the information on what they're doing, what they're up to. They now have their own show as well going on. They'll do live bidding like with eBay on social media. 7 o'clock usually on Tuesdays. They may have switched that with their new show with another network, but they're all over the place. They're always on social media now. Steve is posting wherever he's at. He's always getting his walk-in, whatever show he's at, and getting his therapy going and getting stronger. So him, Jeremy, the entire team, we thank them for partnering with us. And also thank you to Keon Sports. I'll talk about them a little bit more later, but let's just jump in, right? Yeah. I mean, the rumors just continue to swirl. The speculation just continues to swirl. Shams, Wendy, all of these guys that go on TV and on radio and talk about, like, what's the latest? There is none. And Wendy even said it today. No one knows anything.
Right.
If people, like, understood the reference, because I had older parents, like, that brought me up on TV shows, they watched this show called Hogan's Heroes.
Okay.
And a lot of people would, even of our age group, would not understand that reference, but it was basically American soldiers. It was a comedy, but American soldiers that are prisoners of war with, I think, Germans or something like that. And there's a guy that, like, runs the place that they're in. And, you know, if they're ever, like, up to some shenanigans, whatever, the guy always says, I know nothing. I know nothing. I know nothing, right?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. It's like you said, for the last month, it feels like, you know, every time we crack the mics open, you know, we've had to circle back or start, you know, with the same storyline. Is LeBron's free agency hanging over the league like, you know, a storm cloud, man. Cavs fans have felt it. NBA fans have felt it. And honestly, you know, it's wild that we're sitting here almost August. We're a week away from August, man. And we're still talking about the same question with no answer. I mean, we all knew that he was gonna stretch it out. I mean, that's part of, you know, the LeBron experience. You know, he's always understood how to keep the spotlight pointed directly at himself. And he's never been shy, you know, using that attention to shape the narrative, you know, but even knowing that, even, you know, expecting it, most of us expected it, you know, you could feel the frustration building across the fan base right now, man. You know, people, you know, weren't mad because they don't understand it. You know, they're starting to get mad because they do understand it. You know, he had multiple chances to make, you know, his decision in a way that would, you know, he would still, you know, own the news cycle. You know, Fanatics Fest came and went, you know, no announcement there. You know, the World Cup is wrapped up and still nothing, you know, so even if he was waiting for that, still nothing, you know, and then yesterday he sat down, was it yesterday? No, a couple of days ago, you know, with the Tyrese Halliburton. Sorry, I got kids. I'm tired. Yeah. You know, and he just had the opportunity and it didn't happen. It was just really, really disheartening, I would say. A lot of fans are getting frustrated. You know, and now we're back at the same place where, you know, where we've been for weeks and just waiting. You know, and then I don't know if you obviously you've heard about it, the Miami Heat situation with the accidental leak that made everything, you know, even a little bit messier. I was late to the party. I just found about it today, but, you know, allegedly the YouTube page went live with, you know, a scheduled press conference, you know, announcing LeBron, even though he hadn't, you know, obviously made a decision yet. So, you know, the link went public and, you know, people saw it. You know, we all saw the screenshots by now. They're everywhere. And, you know, Miami looked like a franchise that, you know, jumped the gun and tried to get ahead of the story before it existed, you know, and now they're trying to explain it away, you know, saying their social team was prepping assets and hit the wrong button. I think I've heard allegedly they fired that YouTube guy. So, you know, it looks like he is getting all the blame, you know, but fans saw it immediately and started demanding clarity. And if he's truly still undecided, the kind of that kind of noise doesn't help anybody. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. I don't know. Obviously, you see all the markets that are leaning towards Miami now too. I'm not a bettor, but I mean, obviously, after seeing something like that, one could think that that's simply just market manipulation. I have no idea, man. But now the noise is all Miami, and man, it's frustrating. So
I got crushed on Sunday. Well, not crushed because I mean, what people say doesn't matter. But like people were trying to crush me because I said something, and it wasn't. I'm not into Kalshi and Poly Market. I get what all those are. I'm not into that. I'm not into sports betting. That's just me.
Me too. Yeah.
That stuff isn't going to change my mind. It's more so when Wendy talks and him saying that he's starting to realize a better fit may be Miami, and other analysts are starting to say that. Like I said something, like it's not the markets and everything, but it was just like this vibe that I got, like something was telling me Miami, and I hope that I'm wrong, like that, and that hasn't necessarily changed. But again, like to sit here and speculate over and over and over again, like if you think that video had any, is the reason, is the leak to what his decision is, I mean, you don't understand how media groups work. Like,
right.
I can tell you not exactly what it is, but I can tell you that we have had things at my other job prepped for if he comes back to Cleveland.
Sure, that makes sense.
Like, so it was a problem to put that live. And like, I know it had a date on it. I think it was July 27th.
27th, yeah.
Yeah, so Monday.
Right.
But like, again, I can tell you we've had things set to run at a certain date just to like that it's ready. And like, once the news comes, it just, it goes out to the people. It's right there. It's ready and goes out to the people. Like we have a date set and we change the dates for as long as this thing goes. Like we keep backing it up, but we're trying to stay prepared. So everybody's doing that. Now, could it end up, if he ends up going there, could it be something? Sure. Like anything could be something right now.
Yeah.
That's where we're at, right? Anything could be something. And it's only going to come down to how and when LeBron James himself actually says anything. Yeah. Like I'm not really excited about the getting back to the quarterback talk, but I'm kind of more into that right now than this LeBron thing.
God help me.
Look, so here's the one thing that I think, and I'm interested to hear what you think about this too. Like people are, there's always one way or the other. Like there's never like, okay, I feel this way, but I understand you feel this way, but here's why I feel like that's what a debate is, sure. If you're ever on different sides. Well, nowadays it's my way. No, it's my way. No, what I say is fact. What I say, that's just not how the world works. That's just not how things work. So what I'm referring to is, people say, there's people that say like, oh, like, man, everybody should be frustrated by this. Well, no, not everybody needs to be frustrated. If you're still interested, you're still interested. I'm frustrated by it. I'm over it right now. But then there's the people that say like that are still into it. They're saying, well, how could you be over it? Because if he does come here, you're going to be, so excited and all that stuff. That is a separate thing. I'm over the talk of speculating where he's going to go.
Right.
I'm over that. Like whenever he decides to go, like that's a separate reaction. Like that's a new topic to finally talk about. That's a different reaction. So like if you're frustrated, you're over it, you're more than welcome to be over it. And you can absolutely, if he comes here, then be elated and excited and throw confetti everywhere if you want to, like that he's coming back. Or if he doesn't come, you can have your reaction to that.
Oh, yeah.
You can be that way. If you're still interested, you're still excited about every single conversation, every single speculation, even with Brian Windhorst saying no one knows anything. If you're excited to hear someone say that as their report, more power to you. we can all be in different camps on this, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, to expect anything else from LeBron, I mean, we've been saying it for a month now. Like I said, he's going to drag this out. I mean, do we think it was going to be to this extent? Probably no, if we're realistic. But I mean, would I expect anything else, or does it surprise me? Absolutely not. I think, like I said, his time to shine was probably FanFest. I think that time is now come and gone, but regardless of when his decision is made, it's going to be made, and people are going to be excited. People are going to be pissed off. I mean, the whole NBA, I mean, the commissioner even said, like, hey, we're waiting for, LeBron to make his decision so we can, figure out the schedule. Who's going to play on Christmas? Who's going to do that? Like everything is on halt right now. So, of course, LeBron's going to eat that up, especially if this is his last or farewell or final tour, or sign, a year or two, whatever, and, finally retire. He's going to soak it up. I mean, they're already talking about him doing a documentary, and this is all part of that. I mean, the whole NBA world right now is paused, waiting for one guy. That's a lot of power, and he loves the power. Why you expect anything else?
He does love the power.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like, part of me understands the commissioner saying they can't make the schedule, but the other part of me thinks he doesn't need all the teams that he could go to. They're all eligible without LeBron on their team to be a Christmas Day, a prime time, nationally televised type game. So is it the quantity? Like, you want LeBron on national television even more, whatever team he's on, then
for sure what it is. Yeah.
Than others. Like, okay, like, I understand that, but I feel like they could, to go to that extent, like, we can't even release the schedule. Like, you got to have at least an idea, and you can, like, put this team here, he goes here, like, we can add this one. Like, I feel like they probably pretty much have the schedule, and they can move a few things around for the one guy. But again, the fact that he is 41, going to be 42 this season, and he is the guy with all the other news that has happened this offseason already. Giannis going to Miami, the trades, somehow LaMelo Ball is now in Minnesota with Anthony Edwards, and the Jaylen Brown trade to Philadelphia. All of that stuff has happened. And the dude that's holding up everything and is holding court, you could say, is still LeBron. Like, if you don't think he's number one, I don't care. But if you say he's not number one because he's not great, this proves you wrong right here. There's at least greatness there. Yeah. And everybody at this point should be able to, whether you're a troll or not, just admit that he is great. How great? No, don't need to go down that road. Don't need to go down that road at all. But we sit here and we wait.
Yep.
We're going to sit here and we're going to listen to some of the partners with the Inside Edge Network. On the other side, we'll get into a little bit of football, a little Browns, a little Ohio State. Camps are on the way. Ohio State missed out on a recruit. Does it matter? We'll talk about that next. Right here, the Voice of the Land on the Inside Edge Network.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code INSIDEEDGE10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
And welcome back inside the Voiceland, the Inside Edge Network. Let's go camping, right? Let's go camping as rookies and quarterbacks reported today, even those trying to make their way back from injury. All of them were back today. I think Malik Collins was put on the active PUP list today, so that means he won't they already know he won't pass his physical to start camp, but hopeful that he'll join at some point. So kind of enables them to bring him back probably sooner than later. We know the quarterbacks are going to be the conversation. We'll have plenty of time to break that down. We'll get video, we'll get quarterback trackers, we'll get all of those types of things. But what is that story that you're really watching outside of that, Ryan?
Dude, I don't know. I'm not really watching any story. I'm so tired of the quarterback controversy right now. I mean, it's already, I feel like it's been 4 months of it and we're just now starting. So it is what it is at this point with the quarterbacks. I'm excited. I like that they're friends. I like that they at least allegedly are, outward and saying, hey, this isn't, this is competition, but there's no animosity between us. There's no beef. Like so I don't know. I'm more interested just to see how this offense meshes together. I mean, I love that the rookies are there. Spencer Fano, I mean, those rookie receivers as well. I mean, that's the big question. Can this offense, finally take the next gear, get on the next level and finally, produce what, we were expecting. And then also, I guess with this defense, how much of a loss is going to be with losing Myles Garrett and, having Jared Verse in there. So I have some questions, but they'll be answered once we get the system and everything involved, but nothing right now. I'm not falling for any of the hype, so.
Can we have a receiving core that's more than just Camp Darlings? And I say that knowing that Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston are really talented. Jerry Jeudy is talented enough to have a comeback year. Isaiah Bond, people probably don't talk about him enough, but if you listen to Zagura, who's calling these games from a box up top, seeing the All-22 live, and then watching the game, like watching the film the very next day while he's got a little, a 1-year-old at home and kids going off to college and all that type of stuff. Like he's got a lot going on. He's watching these games in the All-22 all the time. Isaiah Bond was open a lot. And I trust that he has seen that he is open a lot and could have, made some bigger plays. But, we haven't seen Casey and Denzel at this level. We haven't seen Jerry Jeudy, if he's going to be 2025 or 2024, Jerry Jeudy yet.
Right.
I love that Denzel Boston is standing out to everybody when they were at minicamp and in shorts and all that type of stuff. And I'm sure he's going to stand out even when they get the pads on. And Casey is going to, I'm sure there's going to be days where people are talking about his drops, but there's going to be days where they're talking about how, he's that difference maker. He's that inside threat that you really need that can, go the distance from any single spot and has the speed and all those types of things. That's great in camp. It's even great in preseason games where, you're not necessarily game playing all that type of stuff. Come September, whatever, I think it's September 13th, do we see that translate to NFL football? I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying that's what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for more standout performances from these guys in camp when the pads are on, when they're going to hit. Because you already know Todd Monken's going to have a lot more pads.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more hitting. They're going to be more prepared. I'm hearing 2-hour practices still. Stefanski always had an hour 15, hour 20, and they didn't hit a lot. They thudded. It became a big story because they hit last year, Rye, for the first time in his tenure here, and it still didn't work because it wasn't enough. Monken's going to have a different mentality, and I have faith that the wide receivers will be more than just Camp Darlings. Because where did Todd Monken start? as a wide receivers coach.
Yeah.
So, like, while he's gotten quarterbacks to play better, right, he definitely has the ability to get wide receivers developed and to play better.
Yeah. No, I mean, and the one thing about Monken is he's done coaching from every single positional group, every level. I mean, he's done it all. So, I mean, he's a jack of all trades. I mean, I'm trying to keep it back a little bit, but I have some optimism for Monken. He's a guy that, you know, he knows this is his one and only chance. He's 60 years old. This is his, you know, you don't normally get your first head coaching gig at 60 years old in the NFL, and he's getting a shot. So he's going to pick the best quarterback that he thinks is going to, you know, fit his system, regardless of what the fans say. And you know, we're going to have to trust that with the receivers. Like you said, I mean, these guys were drafted, you know, in the first round, early in the second round for a reason. Yeah. Denzel Boston, you know, has looked great in, you know, so far in what he's done with the Browns. Casey Concepcion, I mean, I love the tape. I think, you know, they complement each other so well. Like you said, Isaiah Bond is always open. They talk about it all the time. You know, so there are improvements finally. I mean, I still think that Harold Fannin Jr. is actually going to be the, you know, top target receiver in this on this team. You know, Todd Monken loves his tight ends. Joe Royer is going to be really, really good in this offense too, as a tight end too. Really excited about that. Fully built offensive line, you know, completely rebuilt. I mean, that was my main concern going out of last season was, you know, our entire offensive line are gone. What are we going to do? And, you know, to my surprise, Andrew Berry, looks like he, you know, has completely rebuilt this thing. I'm not going to jump, you know, the gun here or anything, but they, to me, should be better than what we've had in the past couple of years. And hopefully better than last year. But nonetheless, you know, I mean, there's a lot of optimism, but, you know, there's a lot of young guys on this team, a lot of new pieces and a lot of what ifs, whole new system. There's just a lot of things that have to get done with not a ton of time to get them done. So I don't know. I'm just trying to just want to dampen my expectations and hope that these guys can just do their freaking job. That's all I want. So,
yeah. And as we transition a little bit into college football in Ohio State, like, I just hope, because it's already started and we're in July and we haven't had the full team report. Everybody talking about the 2027 quarterback class. I know how good it can be.
Yeah.
I know how talented these guys are. I know how deep it could be if guys perform. But we're already talking about this team positioning, you know, needing to be in position to do that. And they've done everything else, and they just need to draft. I think some people call it the quote unquote, for joking purposes, the Messiah. You know, like Jesus Christ walking on water or something like that. That type of thing. Like,
that's a bit extreme, but I get it.
Yeah, but like, October is kind of where you know, after a few games, and like, that's like the earliest we should be doing that. But we're already doing that, and we're ranking these quarterbacks. And you know, Todd McShay has Arch Manning at like 5. CJ Carr, who's like a Heisman favorite, at 4. Lenore Sellers at 2, I think. I
love Lenore Sellers. I'm excited to see him this year.
I just don't have as much faith in him.
His offense was awful. Him and his name is Nick Harbor, his receiver. He's like 6'3", 250 pounds, and runs like a 4.40. He's insane, but has kind of stone hands. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, if Lenore's can get it all together, I think he could be a really, really good pick. But that's what it is. Like what you're saying, like Miche, it's stupid to have any of these guys ranked because we don't know. There's a whole season ahead of us, and that's just. I mean, it's speculative. It's just, you know, off-season garbage you're just trying to get out, and it means nothing. So sorry, continue.
No, but is there a better chance that there'll be multiple quarterbacks, at least like 3 going into next year?
Oh,
probably.
Dude. Yeah.
And there's the guys we're talking about, and the last couple of years, there's a guy that's come out of nowhere that we started talking about, and including Fernando Mendoza. But then, you know, the last 2 quarterback drafts, there's only been, you know, 2 talked about at the top, and then, you know, really only one goes. And then, you know, you have the Rams, like basically what the NBA calls draft and stash. That's when you draft, you know, an international player and stash them overseas, whatever team, but you have their rights for whenever you're ready to bring them over, if ever. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? From Alabama. Went to the Rams. Drafted first round quarterback.
Recently?
Yeah. this past
Ty
season.
Simpson. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was confused, sorry.
But like they have like a draft and stash Ty Simpson behind Matthew Stafford, who's going to play like one or two more years. So like I understand how good it is, but we have to see it. Like they still have to play. Like will Julian Sayin be able to play better against the better teams? I'm not saying he was terrible, but pick sixes, in back-to-back games, and just lack of connection amongst the offense against the better teams those last two games. Like he's got people think like I'm not a Buckeye fan or I'm not like big on Ohio State or like big on Julian Sayin. Like I love Julian Sayin. I love what he can do in that completion percentage. But now after he's been in it for a year and he's seen like what what losing in big games looks like, he has the talent to take those next steps and truly be an NFL like prospect type player for Ohio State. And you have all the weapons on the outside. You have two guys in the backfield this year. But there's going to come games, and you're probably going to tell me you're Captain Obvious here, Rye. So definitely take me to task if you want to. But there's going to be a couple of games, especially with a stronger schedule, where Julian Sayin is going to have to go win the game. Not just relying on Jeremiah Smith to go up and make a play. Like he is going to have to be the one that puts his team in the position to have guys like that end up making the final play. Like he's going to have to go win a game or two to really have a chance in a national championship this year.
Yeah, and I mean he's poised to do it. I mean he's got a full year under his belt. He's returning. He's got his coach behind him. He's got his team. He's got Jeremiah Smith, who is as polished as you can get, a returning running back. I think that sky's the limit for this kid. This kid, I mean, he was high in the Heisman race last year. I mean, I personally, yes, he put a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouth with the pick sixes, of course, but this kid is still incredibly accurate, has just a very good arm, and hopefully he can get over the mental whatever that was. I have a lot of faith in this guy. I am a huge Buckeyes fan. I personally don't see all the hate. I'm excited for this season. A lot of people were thinking Ohio State might have 3 to 4 losses. I think that's insane. I think that the Buckeyes are primed, ready to go, man. I mean, yeah, they've had some losses, obviously. 3 guys in the top 10. I mean, Caleb Downs right outside of that. I mean, obviously some huge losses, but they've replaced, next man up, and they look ready to roll. I mean, until I see different, until I hear differently, I listen to a lot of other, Buckeye podcasts and a lot of, insiders, and I'm personally really excited. So, and you said 2 running backs. I think they got 3 because Legend Bay is going to be an absolute beast in this offense.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about that. Like, do you consider him a running back or just like an athlete or, I just consider him like, just put him out there and like, he can be your third running back, but he can also be, your third or fourth wide receiver. He can just, just take a little shovel pass and take it. Like, so that brings us, that's bringing us to DGG. And I just want to close with this on saying, and if you feel like I'm being too hard on him, you can tell me, right? But like, I'm just saying, like, I have a lot of faith in him, but I'm not here to just like, I'm a Buckeye honk to an extent. Like I'm a realistic Buckeye honk.
Right.
I know what he has to do better at. And I'm saying that now because like, that's what he expects from himself. That's what Ryan Day expects from him. So if people think that I'm saying something that's like that's too negative against Julian Sayin, I'm saying what they're telling him inside the building. I love Julian Sayin. I want people to know that. I want to see those next steps for him because I want to, I want to see him realize and recognize and achieve what he is capable of.
And I think we're right there.
Good, man. He is damn good.
We're both right there too. Like you're wanting that, you're hoping that. I am fully expecting him to be ready to already just show that proof of concept on the field, ready to go. Week 1, but really week 2 against Texas. So maybe it is blind optimism. I don't know. I usually don't have that. I usually go in logically, but I have high confidence. I mean, they have 2 NFL ex-head coaches on their as coordinators, dude. They are ready to go. And to think anything else, I mean, I'm not saying but for me, I can't comprehend that. Julian Saint has to be ready to go. There's no other option. There are so many men in that room who have just been in incredible situations in any part of their career that can prepare this guy. And if he's not ready, we're screwed. So I have no other expectation for this guy to be absolutely ready. So.
Yeah, and you have the leader in that room that's probably gonna be a captain again, and Brandon Innes in that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Is he gonna have a lot of production? I don't know. I don't think so, but that's a valuable piece to have leadership wise and all that, because guess what? You also have two big time wide receivers that are freshmen in Chris Henry Jr. and Brock Boyd. Plus you brought like this speedster over from UTSA and like, again, the plethora of talent.
Forget about Guilford, another 5-star receiver last year too. Beast. There's so many dudes. Yeah. Right. Brock Boyd is going to be so fun though. Sorry.
Like, I know you got to replace pieces on the defense, and Matt Patricia's probably going to do a little even more coaching than he did last year with kind of the pieces that he got to inherit. That's totally fine. He's found his joy for football again. Arthur Smith, you can say like you don't like what he's done in the NFL and everything. I'm sure he's finding that same joy. And guess what? He's not running the Arthur Smith offense. He's running the Ryan Day offense that still has pro-like elements to it, with a little bit of that Arthur Smith running game specialty trying to be splashed in there. Like, how can we get this running game to be better? That's what he was brought for. And if I'm going to question Arthur Smith, like, all I can do is look back. Like, I question Matt Patricia. And, under Ryan Day's system, like, just something changed, just something flipped to get back to football for Matt Patricia. I feel like that could happen with Arthur Smith. Will it? Only time will tell. But everything is right there for this team to make another run at this. And, everybody's going to give you their best. It's Ohio State. It just happens that way. If you're not ready for it, then you don't belong at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Now, David George's – what's his last name?
David Gabriel Georges is his name.
Gabriel Georges, the 5-star running back out of Canada. I believe he's from Canada, right? He
plays in Chattanooga, Tennessee, though. Yeah.
Okay. So he's from Canada, but playing in Tennessee. He was highly recruited by the Buckeyes, highly recruited by Tennessee. Ole Miss was part of that Final Three.
Yeah.
But he ends up going with Tennessee. Do you have issues with it like a lot of Buckeye fans have had?
All right, I've been waiting to talk about this.
Yes.
We're
gonna go a little past the break time, but that's fine.
It's
for the final segment is all good.
I did the recruitment of DGG, David Gabriel Georges. It is one of the wildest high stakes battles that Ohio State's been in for at least a running back in years, a long time. And now that it's over, I think it's time to say the quiet part out loud a little bit. I mean, the dude's a monster. He's a 5-star plus. Like I'm not gonna say generational because he's only 17 and a junior, but he's very, very good. He's the top running back in the 2027 class. The kind of kid who walks into a college program, I think, and immediately becomes a centerpiece of an offense. A physical freak that's extremely hard to get on the ground. He's so fast. He's really, really good. Ohio State wanted him badly. I wanted him badly. Most of the fan base wanted him badly, and Tennessee, I guess, wanted him more, and they proved it with their wallet. His NIL is insane, obviously. I personally don't think that, this wasn't a recruiting loss based on fit or culture or development or winning. I think it was based off of money. Tennessee offered him a package that no 17-year-old on the planet would turn down. I mean, it just, the reported deal, I saw Hayes Fawcett reported, I don't know if other people did, but 3 years, $2 million per year, plus family travel benefits, and additional perks. Ohio State allegedly offered him a strong deal, but Tennessee obviously blew past it. And when you're 17 years old and someone drops $2 million a year in front of you, you're not choosing culture, you're choosing life-changing money immediately. And I don't blame them at all. I don't blame them a little bit, and there's been a lot of talk online, whether he chose money over winning, and I think, yeah, he did, but again, if you're 17 and someone who hands you a contract and that rivals, what actual NFL running backs make, you're going to take it, and, I did a little research, for NFL running backs, there's a couple in the NFL, like James Cook, he's a top 5 running back. This year he's going to make $2,010,000. He was a top 6 running back last year. Trevion Henderson, $2,031,199. Quinshaw Judkins for the Browns, $2,076,815. And that is the guy that DGG has been compared to by a lot of scouts. Devin Achane, only over $3 million. He's a top 5 back last year. Those are grown men in the NFL, and a high school senior is about to make nearly the same amount. And I think that's absolutely insane. It's unprecedented. It's why Tennessee exactly why they won. And there's no universe where Ohio State was going to, I think, compromise its culture to match that number, especially when you already have, Bo Jackson for another year. You have, Legend Bay. You have Elijah Newman Hall coming in. So many guys. Isaiah West. I kept on thinking Bryce West, but he was a corner that left. Isaiah West. Ohio State has the depth. They have the talent. They have a plan. They weren't going to blow up the entire NIL structure for one player, no matter how good he is. Does missing on DGG sting? Yes, absolutely. The fan base was upset, but let's not pretend like this wasn't anything other than a financial situation. But I did want to highlight something. There is something that I just I saw. I usually don't see the Ohio State Lunatic Fringe as much, but I definitely saw them the last week leading up to this, and it was just awful, man. It was bad. I saw one guy on Twitter just absolutely, and I think it was the comment section of maybe it was Ari Wasserman when he crystal balled him over, absolutely annihilating DGG. And obviously that blew up. Ohio State fans, bro, you don't speak for us. Tennessee fans tagging him, hey man, you see what they're talking about you. DGG ended up quote tweeting that with just a period. So obviously he saw what, but Buckeye fans were representing and talking about him and stuff. He eventually deleted that, I saw, but that's just, that stuff gets back to these guys, and they're young kids who are trying to make major decisions, whether that's based on money or culture. It's not your decision, man. And it really frustrates me that way, people are quote tweeting or calling this guy out, or he's a kid, dude. His frontal lobe's not even developed, and he's trying to make a major decision and a financial decision that most of us will never have to make in our entire lives. It just kind of pissed me off a little bit. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's why like when I get called a Buckeye honk, I don't like that, because or be called part of the Lunatic Fringe. I don't like it because I know where that fringe goes.
Yeah,
I never go to that level. Now, I was talking about it on the Really Big Show earlier today on ESPN Cleveland. They brought me in to talk about it. At one point, I may have said it may have been a sarcastic tone when I didn't mean to, saying that kid will be great, that type of thing.
Right.
I know that DGG is going to be a great running back. He's going to be great at Tennessee. But I'm not upset or anything that he's not coming to Ohio State.
And Tennessee's going to suck with them anyway, so who cares? They suck. Tennessee's going to suck with them anyway. Who cares?
Well, the SEC wants to play in their own league. They don't want to play in the NCAA anymore. Whatever. That's conversation for another day. And as we get closer, I'm sure we'll get into that, because we are getting close to college camps opening, just like we are with NFL camps. But he made a financial decision. He, I'm sure whether it's reported right now that there's perks for his family. If there is, great. If not, and it's just a report, okay, people are misleading what it's like. He's the number 0. He if he really wants to wear the number 0, that's earned at Ohio State. That's just the tradition. That's the culture. It's a block O. There's certain things that certain programs are not going to see. Now, if you're frustrated that they put a lot of effort into this guy and then they missed out on some other running backs because they, kind of, maybe you could consider it pushing a lot of chips in the center of the table for this one running back in that class and missed out on some others. Okay. I understand that frustration, but guess what? Guess what they're paid millions of dollars to do? Guess what they have millions of NIL to do? They were paid millions to go recruit guys and recruit transfer portal guys and find guys like that. So nothing is lost with this. You still have 2 really good freshman running backs. You got Legend Bay that can go back there and be all over the field and looks jacked, by the way.
Yeah, he's going to be in the slot. He's going to be out. He's going to be everywhere. He's a gadget dude. I'm so excited for this kid.
Yeah, and he wanted to be here. His mom wanted him to go to Tennessee. He had his table all set up. She wouldn't sign it. She only signed for Tennessee. And, as soon as he got a chance to emancipate himself, or not emancipate, but basically make his own decisions as an 18-year-old, right back to Ohio State. Like, that's the type of guys that you want here. If DGG want to go to Tennessee, great. Like, he wants to be there. And yeah, it's mainly the money. But Ohio State hasn't lost anything, people. We have to relax on this.
Yeah.
We have to Ohio State's fine. Guess what? I'm sure we're going to miss out on another 5-star at some point. But guess what? We're going to get more 5-stars in the future. We're going to get more 4-stars in the future. We're going to get transfer portal guys that were once 4 or 5 stars. Like, that's just the way that it works. Ohio State is a well-known brand and a well-respected brand. There's a reason why everybody circles Ohio State on their schedule and wants to give them their best. And they don't necessarily do that with every other what is considered blue blood program out there in the country. It's because it's a respected brand that people sports hate.
Yeah.
Maybe some people actually hate them. That's fine. Ohio against the world. OHIO, baby. Like,
I think it's more fan bases against fan bases. I called out Tennessee fans at my top 10 list of undesirable fans years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And people are like, what are you talking about? And now people are seeing it. But this is a battle of fan base between fan base, so
and
that's all it
is. Poor attempts at trolling by the Tennessee fans, by the way. I saw one that said, man, the best culture in the NCAA, Tennessee, the best facilities, Tennessee, the best, the best pro. Have you won a national championship recently? Oh, that's right. Come with something better, Maybe tell your guys don't try to act all tough and come out in the cold with no shirts on and then, not get your ass beat. I don't know.
So corny, bro.
Yeah, and Ohio State looked at him and said, "You're corny, bro," and then beat your ass. That's what I care about. I care about winning football games. We're going to win and lose recruiting battles for high school kids and transfer portal kids. That's going to keep happening. But I care about winning on the field. And if you care about that, and you get the money as an added bonus, part of this NIL thing, and you want to beat Ohio State, more power to you. You don't? I wish you all the luck, and I hope that you get a degree and you make it to the NFL that you want to and you have that thing to fall back on. I just wish the best for all these student athletes because they're kind of pro now, but, you still got to go to class just enough to be eligible because if you're ineligible, so just it's all pump the brakes. Ohio State will be fine. Congratulations to Tennessee. Congratulations to DGG and his family. And I hope we get a chance in 3 or 4 years to see him, again, begging the question of NFL teams. Are you willing to take a guy in the first round at the running back position? And I hope that answer is yes. And he makes even more money once he gets to the NFL. That'll wrap up this version of this segment, at least, of the Voice of the Land. We got one more segment. Guardians fall to the Twins today. They split the series. Not so happy about this one game, but still some things on the horizon. We will talk about them. And Brian has a special story. I want to get to that as well here on the Voice of the Land on the Inside Edge Network.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick.
With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh.
I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Thank you to all the partners with the Inside Edge Network. Thank you so much for supporting what is trying to be built here. And thank you to AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon, Peter Tulp, and the entire crew at Inside Edge Network for all of the opportunities. Guardians lose today in 12 innings to the Twins. They split the series with them. They take the first two. Twins take the second two. Now the Guardians are off to Tampa Bay to face off against the Rays coming up over the weekend. And the good news was, Jose Ramirez came back.
Yep.
Bad news was, the way that you lost last night and the way you lost today. 0 for 17 today with runners in scoring position. 0 for 17. Just not going to get it done. Now, Angel Martinez should be on his way back. I think the biggest thing right now is, they're in the heat of the race, and they need to string more games, more wins together to not just look like they won a division that they can win a couple games above 500. Like, I don't want to see them win the division because it's a weak division. I want to see them win it because they ran away from everybody, or at least them. And if the White Sox continue to play the way they've been playing, they both run away and they just battle it out. And there's many games over 500. That's what I want to see. The way to get there is you got to make some moves by next Friday. Next Friday is the trade deadline. So we'll probably preview that a little bit more. Probably start with that on next week's show. If no trades happen to that point, based on the rumor mill and all those types of things, who knows, might still be talking about LeBron and where he might go instead of where he is. But they need to, they can't just tell fans, that their moves were Jose Ramirez and Angel Martinez coming back to the lineup healthy and ready for the stretch run. That cannot happen. You need an arm out in that bullpen, and you need another bat in the middle of that lineup to kind of help, split up the young guys, give a little bit more. While they've played like veterans this year, they're playing more games than they've ever played before. Give a little bit more breathing room for Chase the Lauder and Travis Bazzana to then just go do what they do and not feel like they have to not only perform to the level that they are as rookies, but well above that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous now, man. I'm not panicked, but I'm definitely nervous. I think the standings are getting Very, very tight. I'm not exaggerating when I think that the Guardians have completely lost their cushion. I think it's pretty much completely gone. The standings right now look like someone stacked 7 teams on top of each other and told them to fight for 3 chairs, and it's not very fun. The Guardians are 54-49. The White Sox are 54-47. Red Sox have won 9 of the last 10 and now are 52-49. Mariners are 51-59. I mean, you got 3 teams here are also 50 wins or above after that. So it's a 3 to 4 game cushion for 7 teams fighting for either the divisional top spot or 3 wild card spots, where maybe 2, because it looks like the Yankees are going to hold the top one regardless. So I just 7 teams within arm's reach of each other, it's not going to help if you're a buyer at the trade deadline either, because all these teams are thinking that they have a chance to be in it. Why would they be sellers? Nobody wants, to be the team that waves the white flag when they're, 2 good weeks away from jumping into a playoff spot, and if everyone is buying and nobody is selling, then that's a nightmare scenario for the Guardians. I think, like you said, this team needs a right-handed bat. They need, I think, another starter, and it definitely needs some bullpen help. They need just about something at every level, but needing something and actually getting something are 2 different things. And when you're a franchise that already hates spending money and you're not exactly built for a bidding war, it's easy to say, go get a right-handed bat, but it's a lot harder when every team in the league is saying, no, we're keeping ours, or no, we're looking for one too. And I think that's the reality right now. So I'm nervous. I'm not panicked, but it's yikes. I don't know.
So I know it's low-hanging fruit and it's easy to just complain about the Dolan's not spending money, but
right.
There's people that get upset that like Guardians fans only do that. Like they only say that this team's cheap, and they, that's right to an extent, because what this front office has been able to do and keep this team, and then the manager and the staff, what they've all been able to do to keep this team in contention every single year, that has to be, you have to give credit where credit is due. Now, I'm not going to continue to pile on the Dolans every single time. But in this instance, this is where, until the ownership thing transfers over, this is where you need to, as the Dolans, you need to give Chris Antonetti, Mike Chernoff in this front office. Like, it takes 2 to tango. So if deals get done, that's because both teams agree to it. But in order to try to have the opportunity to get some of the needs that you have, and take on certain contracts from guys that you're trying to bring onto this team, the Dolans need to be able to say, like, okay, go do what you need to do. Go do what you need to do. Nothing's guaranteed. I know we have a young team, and we feel like our window is there for a while. Nothing, especially in 162 game seasons and in baseball, like nothing. It's very difficult to make it back to the dance, basically. So let's try to take advantage of this window that we have this year.
Yeah.
Go do what you need to. We'll open up, we're not restricting you at all. Like that's what I want from this team. And really the one thing that I look at with baseball, before we get your cool story that I've been looking forward to listening to, the main thing I look at is like last 10 when I look at the standings. Because like I kind of look at it as like those 10-game chunks a little bit. And you really want to be, if you're going to make a run in this second half of the year, you're going to want weeks that look like, more weeks that look like 8-2, 7-3 than they do 5-5, 6-4, 4-6, whatever. I mean, the Guardians are still 6-4 in their last 10.
Yeah.
Basically, like, I think a game under 500 since coming back from the All-Star break. Like, we can't be hovering around that 500 thing. We need to string some games together. I'm not looking for 15 straight like the Boston Red Sox had. I'm not, but you need to sweep a couple series and put a good win streak together here pretty soon. Jose's going to get his timing down. He's already come out hitting and hit the ball hard, so it looks like he could be better than he was before the injury, but he's just going to need to get his timing down. Angel's going to need to get his timing down at the big leagues, but you need to help these guys out and give them some support. At least try. You got to at least try. Like, we can be upset if they don't make any sort of moves, but I don't want to hear they made no moves because they didn't really try to make any. Like,
that's what they're gonna do, and that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, this offense has been exactly. I mean, it's been feast or famine. 7 homers one night, then scratching for runs the next. Or just giving up too many runs you can't overcome. Like I went to the game last night. The food was great. The game wasn't so much. That's not sustainable. In a playoff race this crowded. Like I said, Jose is going to help. Hopefully, Angel Martinez coming back will help. But they're going to need more. And I think this is an absolute crucial stretch for the Guardians. Like I said, the margin for error is absolutely gone. The standings are suffocatingly tight right now, guys. And the deadline is shaping up to be one of the most, complicated they face in years. So, it's going to be hard to get a deal done in general. And this team in this front office usually doesn't try to get deals done. I mean, it'd be great if we got an Edwin Encarnacion and Andrew Miller, Brad Hand. But I mean, we can hope and wish in one hand and on the other. We don't know. But I mean, they need help for sure. Are they going to do it? I have no idea.
Yeah, the American League is ripe for someone to really take hold. Now you're going to face a Tampa team that's 16 games over 500. Now they're 4-6 in their last 10. But that's a really good team down there in Tampa.
Yeah.
You're going to need to show something on the road against that team to really, really start, I think, to get that second half momentum rolling on your side. Now we got 5 minutes left. Is that enough time for the story, or would that be?
That's fine. Yeah, it's not as big deal as you're bringing it out to be, but it's no big deal.
Well, let's close with the story you brought to my attention and want to just share on the show.
Yeah. All right. So it's been 5 years since this happened, but it deals with Felix Wright, Browns former safety. Played in the CFL for 2 years and then played for the Browns in the late 80s, in the 85 to 90 or something like that. I haven't really told this one. I mean, some people on Twitter saw it years ago, but I think it's a pretty cool memory, and I just wanted to share it, I guess. Fill some time here for the show. Honestly, it's a weird story and it doesn't feel real, but about 5 years ago, I was at this garage sale, and nothing fancy, just one of those neighborhood setups where you don't expect to find anything special. And tucked away on a table, I find this massive Browns Legends photo. It has 10 players on it, all signed with their autographs except for one autograph. So 9 autographs, missing the one, not complete. And it was. Because it was incomplete, I got to steal. I think I paid like $25 for it. This is it. I'll show you guys real quick. Pretty sweet though, but it's got a weird set of players on it. I don't necessarily know who exactly decided the criteria for Legends because it's got Bernie Kosar, Greg Pruitt, Ernest Biner, all legends, of course. And then it's got like Billy Wynn and Travis Benjamin mixed in there. Obviously Felix Wright. There's one player I can't figure it out. I've been looking for years and still can't figure it out. Maybe I'll put that on Twitter and we can figure it out together. But I start digging, into who's missing and this autograph, and it's number 22. Break it down to 2 or 3 guys, and after a little research, I was pretty confident it was Felix Wright just based off the picture, and that's all I had. Obviously former Brown safety and one of the most underrated players, from that era, I think. But I wanted to be absolutely sure. So as I did what any fan would do, I tagged him on Twitter and said, "Hey man, is this you?" And to my surprise, he responded. He confirmed that it was him in the photo. And at that point I figured, well, I might as well shoot my shot. And, I sent him a DM asking me if he'd be willing to sign it. I would send it into him and he would sign it. I wasn't expecting anything, maybe a polite decline, but, maybe no response at all. But he actually wrote back and we talked. And after a few weeks of back and forth, he told me he was going to be in town and asked me if we wanted to meet up. So I'm not kidding. I stared at my phone for a solid minute. I thought it was really, really cool that this former, Browns, according to this legend, wanted to meet up. I didn't think I'd get a chance to meet him, let alone in person, but my wife was pregnant with our oldest at the time. This was 5 years ago. And I brought her with me because I wanted her to be part of the moment. And we ended up meeting at a Bob Evans. Okay. Oh. Yeah. So of all places, the Bob Evans. No fancy restaurant, not a private event. Just Bob Evans on a random afternoon. We walked in and Felix was sitting in the lobby waiting for us. Stands up, shakes my hand, invites me to sit down with them. So there we are. Me, my pregnant wife, Felix Wright, sitting in the lobby of a Bob Evans with me with this big old poster thing. And he ends up, signing my memorabilia, chats with us, takes a photo. And just when I thought, the moment was over and I get, hey, thanks. Appreciate you. He's like, where are you going? You want to sit down and join me for lunch? So, without hesitating, absolutely. Yes, let's do it. So we walk in the restaurant, and I swear to you, dozens of people. It's a busy morning, and early afternoon, and dozens of people stop him to say hello. And it was like watching a hometown hero walking through a living room in his own home, and he laughed and says he's been going there for years and everyone knows him and it's no big deal. And, we sat down, just the three of us, and we had one of the best conversations I've had in my life. We talked about football. We talked about family, faith. We talked about old teammates, current players, life stories. A lot of his current or old teammates live close to him, and they're also friends, and everything. No rush, no ego, no awkwardness, just genuine conversation with a former Browns legend, and he's just a genuinely good man. We were there for like 3 hours, dude. It was insane. At Bob Evans with Felix Wright, it was humbling. It was surreal. It's a memory that I'll probably carry forever. And, now that, this Browns Legends piece is it hangs right in front of my computer here, but, every signature is completed now, including Felix Wright. That's probably one I'll never forget. I have the list here of the guys. It's Bernie Kosar, Felix Wright, Billy Wynn, Travis Benjamin, Cleo Miller, Greg Pruitt, Ernest Biner, Dick Ambrose, Dan Crockcroft, and then the unknown player I'm trying to figure out still. So
where can you show me the
I can't see the number. It's such a hold on. So it's this dude right here. It's either 52, 57. It's an ST. Could be Matt Stewart or Steiner, I think, a linebacker, but I cannot figure it out. But yeah, that's the unknown player. Smudged name and can't see the number. But
yeah,
hey, guys, in the comments, let me know. Appreciate it. Yeah, but that's my story about how my wife and I got my memorabilia completed, and we got to hang out with Felix Wright at Bob Evans. So
I know we've had terrible times as Browns fans, especially since 1999, but across all sports teams here in Cleveland, but I would say, Browns are at the forefront of that. We've been fortunate to have some really good people be a part of these teams and stick around town, or at least come back a lot. And that type of story, I think, speaks to it. Felix Wright was a good player, but you love to hear those stories about these guys, like, because they are real people. I know that people don't realize that because they're making more than we'll ever see in our lives.
Right.
And they're playing football for a living, but they got some, we have some really, really good people. And that is just a terrific story to kind of shed light on those guys, but especially Felix Wright. And, shout out to him. Like, maybe we got to find, I don't know how to do it. I'm technologically not savvy. We should cut up that story and, tag him in it and, try to share that on your behalf with him and put that out there to share, because I think that's really cool. I loved hearing that story. I know you said it wasn't that big of a deal, but some of those types of stories I think they have deeper meaning, which are cooler than, just like, man, I was walking down the street and LeBron James rolled by me in his car. Like, okay, like that's really, really cool. But to have like that moment and talk more than just football and like life, and have him invite you to have a meal with him.
It was really cool.
Those are the really cool stories. So great way to finish this episode of The Voice of the Land. Ryan, I appreciate you as always. Appreciate doing the show with you. Appreciate Double A and Eli Moon, the Inside Edge Network. But that's going to wrap it up for this edition of The Voice of the Land. For Ryan Moster, I'm Kevin Arnold. Thank you, all of you. Remember, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. And doomsday is coming, but hey, we still love you all. 3,000. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Shout out Greeny Sports Cards at greeniescards.com. Also, Guardians, buy some players, man. Make a trade. Let's do this.
Yep. And we'll see if anything's made by next Thursday when we have our next show. 6:05 p.m. is when we go live on Thursdays here on the Inside Edge Network. Live life, all gas, no breaks. We'll see you next time right here. Voice of the Land.